All right, Jimmy Joe Savage once again. He came here for food, folks. That's the only reason he's here, but we're happy he is here, and he is, of course, shooting this on my little Samsung Galaxy phone here. Here he is, the Moose, and Ryan Miller will tell you more about this young, incredible student-athlete in a moment. But Moose is a longtime friend, former Potter, just big fans of the family, his dad, mom, everyone, and now a great husband, father in his own right, and also a member of the East Liverpool Police Department. And Sean Long may or may not be here because he's working, folks. So as soon as he can get finished, he will be here with us tonight, hopefully talking some wonderful Larry Long, Monica Long, Sean Long, and yes, Larry Senior stories. We got the whole family. We're going to be talking about them. And I forgot Monica earlier today, so I love you, Monica. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. Okay, Moose. Wellsville. Was it hard? I ended up wearing, I had an orange hat on, and I thought, black shirt, orange hat, if I want to get back into Liverpool, I better remove the orange. But did you ever think that you'd be coaching Wellsville football? I'm so happy for you, though.
No, I never did think that I would. But, you know, my kids go to school there, and the opportunity arose, the opening come open, and my wife and I sat down, and we had long conversations, and it was time. And I was fortunate enough that the board approved me. I've been welcomed with open arms down there by the administration and by the community. The community is showing such great support for these young kids that we have playing for us.
Listen, I have this roster in my hand. A lot of these players have graduated. Instead of me trying to just rip off all these names and talk about all these players, I'm going to get to some of the key components, but they haven't even got to camp yet, so a lot of things are going to change. But one thing we do know, he's going to be a big part of them. He is Ryan Miller, Team Mojo. That's a great organization from East Liverpool that I love so much. So tell me about heading into another football season with a new coach, and believe me, I got your back. So how do you feel having this man, this wonderful young man, your head football coach? Ryan, it's nice to meet you tonight.
It's nice to meet you too. Well, it's definitely been a big difference, but it's been a good difference. It's been a lot more weightlifting in the off season than we have had in past seasons, so it's definitely going to be a lot stronger this season.
Well, I see that, you know, he's a tight end and a defensive tackle, so is he going to get to actually catch the football, Coach?
No.
Okay.
We'll clarify that right now. No.
So you're going to do a lot of running the football?
That's our plan right now. Like you said, we're not in camp yet. We have a scheme designed already. Once we get to camp, we'll put things together and see how it happens, and we'll make our adjustments at that point, and we'll be okay.
Listen, one of the things that you're such a part of, and I hope you realize this, Ryan, I've said this and we talked about it earlier, there's so much tradition, rich history in Wellsville that we could spend hours just talking about that. But do you realize that you're representing something more than just your average high school? I mean, Wellsville is a unique place.
I do. I say there's been a lot of stuff that's happened in Wellsville, and it's been a lot of good stuff, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
You know, the thing that amazes me about Wellsville, and for many years I did these games. I didn't do the football games that often because I was doing East Liverpool football for 20 years. Every time I tried to get out, they drugged me back in, and it was worth every minute of it. But when I would go to Beacon Memorial or Nicholson Stadium, there was an edge, there was a feel to it, especially on a Friday night. The band seemed crisper, the stars seemed brighter, and I just loved when they teed the football up down there. Now, your kids there, obviously you're a big part of that community, but you got a lot of Potter pride naturally, but do you understand what I mean about Wellsville and why it's just so significant when you think of more than just a page, more than just a chapter of sports here in Eastern Ohio?
Yeah, I do, and I realized that the tradition was strong down there, but now that I have been hired since mid-February, I've got to meet with some community leaders and to see what Wellsville is all about. We're actually going to bring in past players and coaches for the kids after one of our mini camps, so they can talk and understand what that tradition is all about. Let them know this is why we're here. This is you're part of a tradition. You're just another step on the block, and we want to make our mark this year.
Well, they're going to open up against Beaver Local, and they play, as I mentioned earlier today, in Division 7. And some of the teams that you're very familiar with, Toronto, East Palestine, Western Reserve, Lisbon, Latonia, United Columbiana, Southern Local, just the opportunity that you have. And I think the one thing I've often said about Wellsville, they're a hotbed for skilled players. And at any level, you have to have skill, and you have that, especially with a lot of speed. We all know in football, but especially high school football, that's what usually wins more than not football games for you. overall, when you look at Division 7 and the realistic possibility, you got to dare to dream. And I think sometimes people who have been in the position to lead these young men at various schools, they kind of get caught up in too much of the past and they don't live in the present. But this program, and especially with all of the youth that we've been talking about, who's already got some playing time at the varsity level, they should dream bigger, shouldn't they?
We should, and we had this conversation yesterday right after weightlifting. As I told you earlier, that we had media day down at Harding Stadium. Great facility down there. Great atmosphere with Coach Reno down there. It's amazing. He actually was very instrumental in getting me back into coaching, and really appreciate his help. And I got to spend the afternoon with these young men, Ryan and 4 of his teammates, and being the new guy on the block, it was kind of scary. Are they going to accept you, or are they not going to accept you? Are they going to think you're too tough? You're going to be too easy. And after spending the week with the afternoon with these guys, I got to tell you, I'm refreshed. I know we're going in the right direction. I believe in these kids, and they believe in us, and it's going to be a working thing together. And man, I'm so excited. It's unbelievable.
All right, one of the things you have to actually get into Wellsville, you have to actually know a Carter. So if you know a Carter, they'll actually let you come into the town, and if you know more than 2, they'll give you like a ticker tape parade right there on Main Street. John Carter, of course, Coach Weekly, got lots of folks helping you. Sean Long, arguably one of the best natural athletes, won the gold in the high jump. East Liverpool, 6'9", great wide receiver, could catch that football as good as anyone. Tell me just about some of the players and names, and you have obviously Coach Carter's son. Talk about some of the players. And again, it's early, but I just want to get people familiar with some of these names. Go ahead, Coach.
We got 3 of our 5 linemen returning from last year. We got Ryan, we got Gage Ramos, we got Justin 30acre. All three of our 5 linemen that are coming back. Then we got Derek Suggs. He's a running back from last year. This kid has put on 12 pounds of good weight, and it's amazing what he's done in the weight room. And these kids have bought into what Coach Weekly has done, and we are gaining leaps and bounds strength-wise. And it's so impressive to see that these kids they're selling out. I mean, most kids are at home playing their Xboxes, running around doing something. These kids are giving up their summers already for Wellsville football. And to be a successful team, and it's fascinating to see. It's good stuff.
All right, listen, I just want everyone to know they got a great SOI in Monaca. I mean, in Monaca where I live, and they also have one in Wellsville. And there is Nick's Pizza too. So we got to give Nick some love here tonight. And another Nick, as in Trombetta, a dear friend of mine. That slogan, "Dream Bigger." I don't know what it is, folks, but I cannot tell a lie. That saying, I see it every time I come to East Liverpool. The old Lincoln High School gymnasium where Lincoln Park plays basketball and has been dominating. Right there on the marquee, it has "Dream Bigger, Dream Bigger." And for all of you student athletes getting ready to do the 2-a-day thing in the heat of August and those cool, crisp fall nights when you just see that full moon and everybody just can't wait to get to their field under those lights, you should dream bigger. But just remember, each and every day you're writing a chapter that you're going to be remembering time and time again for many years to come. But speaking of pizza, we're going to show you what Lou Valino does incredible every single time I'm here. And that's one of the reasons why we like to tray it up. Show them, Jimmy Joe. Let's eat. Good night from Casa de Emmanuel.